All right, fellas, this particular video today is going to entail two things. It's going to be adding another formation, as well as within the same formation, talking a little bit about two motion tags. Now, we did a video on motion ages ago, over the summer, more so in July than now in camp, that discusses all of our motions that we have within the confines of this offense. With this particular formation today with white, which is basically an off tight end trips formation, we're going to utilize white right and white left. And we're also going to use some motion with the Y or our tight end, where we're either going to move him from one side to the other because our move goes across the formation, or we're going to orbit him, which will put him starting in one position and then move him to the opposite side guard and then bring him back. And then based on what the play is, he will align when he comes back or stop and chop his feet in a position where he's going to be the most successful at completing his job or doing his job. So without further ado, let's get into the Just Play software and take a look at the formation as well as the two motions that will be installed today during our walkthrough practice. So let me share the screen. And we'll take a look at this by going into our Just Play. All right, so we'll take a look at white, right, and left. So you can see this conceptually. All right, again, so usually make a title bar here so that everybody understands. Again, what we're doing here is normally our Y and F travel together. In this instance, this is an exception to the rule where we're taking the tight end and he's getting the direction call, which will move him to the direction, but we're now adding to, which goes against our rules. We're adding to the formation by putting him, because normally X and Z align opposite the direction. So in this instance, we're going against it in that we're trying to create a three-man surface. And so now when we say white right in our offense, we're telling the X, the Z, and the Y to go to the direction so that we can create this trips or this three-man surface. So this would be white right, and the F is on the ball backside. All right, so we have 7 men on the line of scrimmage in order for it to be a legal formation. So this is what white left would look like. All right, this is white left. So we have X, Z, and Y. He's going to be one by one off the tackle in a 2-point stance and more like a wing position. And then basically we'll have our number 1 receiver out. It's in the middle of the field to be in the numbers. If it's over on the right hash, he's probably going to be somewhere on the top of the numbers, cutting his split just a little bit, maybe in a minus 2 to 3 yard split, which brings us closer into the in towards where the ball is. So minus 2 to 3 yards. And then basically the Z is going to split the difference between number 3 and number 1. He's going to apex 1 and 3 and be in between those two players with the F again on the line of scrimmage. So we have 5 guys on. 5 guys on. So we have 7 men on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, again, which makes it a legal formation. So now those are the two formations that are going in today. white left, white right. Again, it's a tight end trips formation that we will have. Again, the two receivers, the X, the Z, and the Y will go to the direction, and the F will go away, which his rule will stay consistent. Again, actually, I'm sorry. I take that back. I take that back. His rule is also inconsistent with this particular formation because normally he travels with a direction that's given. So it's kind of an exception in our offense to the base rule with the Y and the F traveling together. So don't worry too much about it. Just make sure that when you hear white left, that the X, the Z, and the F go to the direction, and the F, you're on the ball away. All right, that's important. All right, so those are the two formations. Again, white left and white right. Do apologize. Hope I didn't create confusion. But again, we're trying to make a three-man surface. I told you his alignment in a wing, 1-by-1 off the tackle, in a two-point stance, more like a wing kind of. So it's a two-point stance, but not really with our feet, left foot up and then our inside foot back. It's more along the lines of even feet, an even position, so that we can move you all the way across the ball, or we can move you across and come back. All right. So that's white left. Now let's talk about the two motions that need to go in that are relative to the Y. So we'll go into white right Y move. So white right, and we'll say Y move. All right, so what happens here is we are going to line up in the trips. So white right move. And so it's X, Z, Y again in that even feet, 1-by-1 wing off of the tackle. In this position, the X, the Z, and the Y. X is on, Z splits the difference between the Y and the X, and the F is on backside. And if you hear the tight end or the Y hears Y move, he's basically going to move from right to left, and he's going to line up on the other side of the formation, which now, if you're looking and paying attention, we went from white right, and then we basically created purple left. It becomes purple left off, because our tight end would then be in a two-point stance off the ball. So we went from a trips formation, tight end trips, and we go from, so white right, Y move, we move him across the ball and he gets set. It basically becomes purple left off with the Y off the ball. All right, so that's kind of how that would work. All right, so that's white right Y move. And then the last thing with regard to motion for the tight end or the Y is we would go into something called white right Y orbit, which basically allows for the tight end to move, but he's going to go back and forth. So create the tight end trips formation here, F on, X on, Z splitting the difference between number 3 and number 1 receiver. All right, that's the Z splitting the difference between 3 and 1. And now when the Y hears it's Y orbit, so white right Y orbit, he's going to start in a two-point stance, even feet, and he's now going to go across the formation to about the off-guard position, and then he's going to come back, and he's going to return, either chopping his feet or get set before the snap. But he needs to be set. He cannot move. He again chops his feet, but he cannot go up the field until the ball is snapped. Okay, so I recommend going back over and coming back and kind of just chopping our feet. And let's say that we're running Zelda, so everybody's going left. It's our inside zone left. Zelda cap. I would get here in this B gap, right, so that I can dig out the C gap defender, and I'm already inside leverage of him to block him out, so the back can press it and possibly cut it back. So again, white right or Y orbit puts you in a wing 2-point stance. It gets you over to the off guard, and then it brings you back, okay, where you're going to chop them. And then as soon as the ball snapped, you go and you do your job. Okay, so you have to really think about what you need to do. And that's basically the idea that you're going to have when you come, like as you're coming back across the ball, where you'll align for success based on what the scheme is, the concept. If it's a run scheme, or it's a passing concept, you'll know exactly where you'll need to end up prior to the snap of the football. Again, not going up the field before the ball is snapped. So we have white left, white right, tight end trips. Okay. We have the two motions. We have Y move, just taking you and moving you to the opposite side. Wing, which creates that purple off formation. And then if we say Y orbit, we're basically saying you're going to line up to the call, and then we're going to move you across to the off guard and then bring you back to where you originally began or your point of origin. So hope this was helpful. This is the stuff that's going in today during walkthrough. If you have questions, we will have a meeting today. You can ask those questions in the meeting. I would definitely check this out so you know where to align. For the receivers, if you're the tight end, I would definitely check this out, not only from an alignment perspective, but also with regard to the two tags for motion, whether it's move or orbit, so you know exactly what it is that you need to do. I hope this was informative. Hope you got something out of it. Again, questions, please ask. All right, so that everybody's on the same page and knows exactly what they need to do when either the formation, these formations are called, or the formation and the tag for motion is called. Everybody's on the same page, knows what to do. All right, guys, that's it for today with this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, we will see you again next time. Until then, Coach C, peace out.